Hi everybody, my name's Evan Mulch and I'm a field coordinator for the John Birch Society, and this is my year-end review video for 2018. Our first big project of 2018 was to raise the money to where we could set up a booth at the South Carolina Tea Party Convention and also supply it with material so we could hand out free material to everybody that walked by the booth. It was a great opportunity for John Birch Society members to educate Tea Party members on what the John Birch Society is all about. In February, constitutional scholar Robert Brown, a national speaker for the John Birch Society, came into Georgia and delivered two presentations on the solution of Article 6 and why we need to use that instead of calling for an Article 5 Constitutional Convention. He did a great job and it helped us immensely in that area because the state of Georgia has already called for a Constitutional Convention and we need to rescind that call. Also in February of 2018, Mark McClure made a trip from California to South Carolina to try to get South Carolina state representatives to call for a Constitutional Convention. He came up empty like he did in 17 other states across America, and it was because the John Birch Society showed up and exposed him and exposed everything that he's trying to do with his call for a Constitutional Convention. And anyways, it was a great win for all of us. In March, UN whistleblower Peter Gallo did a tour throughout Western North Carolina, Georgia, and South Carolina, where he exposed the corruption within the United Nations. He showed us how it's impossible to get rid of the corruption because of the way the United Nations is set up. And he also exposed the facts on the workers around the world for the United Nations that are raping women and children and getting away with it without any consequences. So it's a very good tour for people to get more educated on why it's time to get out of the United Nations. In April, we hosted a John Birch Society Executive Dinner in Atlanta. And there we had featured speaker John Eidsmoe, and we also heard from the CEO of the John Birch Society. And before the event, there was training for John Birch Society members, where multiple of our members helped train those that were there. It was a great event and excellent learning for all of us that were there. In June, we set up a booth at the North Carolina Republican Convention, and many of our members donated to make that happen. We gave away free material because North Carolina has been under attack by those that want to call a constitutional convention, and it was a great opportunity for us to expose the dangers of such a convention and to remind people that the solution is nullification, not an Article 5 Constitutional Convention. In August, we were going to set up a booth at a Republican event, and we were kicked out because apparently the leadership did not want to see the John Birch Society at their event. So in response, the Lanier Tea Party in Georgia hosted an event to educate people about the John Birch Society, which was a huge event for us, and it helped us to really get the John Birch Society out there to people in that area of Georgia. In September, many of us showed up at an event where DeMint was speaking, and we exposed him for not being a constitutionalist. And we did this by handing out documents that exposed his past record in the New American Freedom Index. And this is a big deal for those of us in South Carolina because he portrays himself to be a Tea Party leader, and he is not such a person. In fact, he has never ever spoken to the Tea Party in Greenville County, the place that he calls home. So that says a lot about him if he calls himself a Tea Party leader. And we also want to expose the fact that he calls himself a Convention of States leader and is misleading us because he's not actually calling for a Convention of States, but an Article 5 Constitutional Convention, which would be very dangerous for America. In October, many of us went to the 60th anniversary celebration for the John Birch Society in Appleton, Wisconsin. It turned out to be an extraordinary event, and it wouldn't have been as good as it was had it not been for people in South Carolina, Georgia, and Western North Carolina that donated to help pay for the program at the event. So the John Birch Society was well represented by Georgia, South Carolina, and Western North Carolina members. In November, Thom DeWeese, an expert at exposing Agenda 21, did a tour throughout South Carolina where he spoke in 6 cities and helped explain to attendees the fact that the United Nations wants to get rid of our property rights, and they're doing that through local organizations within our own communities. And he helped train people on what we need to do to stop these people in our local communities from pushing the strategy of Agenda 21 to end property rights in America. So that sums up most of the highlights from 2018. We did a lot of gun shows. We have a member, Andy Wyndham, that does gun shows throughout South Carolina on Saturdays and Sundays, and helps hand out John Birch Society material at those events. We've got so many chapters that are just working their hardest to get new members and to promote the John Birch Society at any event that they can find in their local communities. And I can't say enough good things about what our members have done in 2018. It's a lot of hard work to do this. I mean, we're fighting a fight that is going to be hard to win, but every day we do this, it just seems like we're getting closer and closer to winning. More people know about the New World Order, more people know about the conspiracy against the United States of America, and it's just great to be in fellowship with people that are on the same page. We share our faith with each other, we share our knowledge on what we believe is happening, and it's just good camaraderie, and it's something we all need to be very thankful for. Those of us that participate in the John Birch Society, we need to be thankful for it this Christmas, that we have an organization like the John Birch Society that can help organize us into being better at creating peace in our areas and exposing those who would like to convert our areas to communist or socialist, areas. We want a free America, and we want people to be able to live their lives without government intrusion. We want businesses to operate in a free market system. So thank you for watching my video on what we did in 2018. This isn't all we did, so don't think that this is it. We did a lot more than just this, but this is really just the highlights of what we did, and everybody kept me busy, and I appreciate that. I appreciate all the members that call me and email me and keep me concentrated on the activities for the John Birch Society, and so many of you that just go out of your way to educate others and get others to read our books and watch our videos. I mean, it's just incredible what everybody's done in 2018. So love everybody very much, and look forward to 2019.